how do you know if your startup idea is any good at all? Basically, you come up with some idea, let's say, like you want to make a new product, right? Um, and so the point is that like if you have a product in mind, or maybe you have like a website or like a YouTube channel, like whatever that might be, that's actually a solution. It's like a specific thing that you want to build, and then you think people are gonna use it or go to it or whatever, right? Um, so to evaluate an idea, you actually have to take a couple of steps backward. So the first thing you have to consider is actually the market. And so in the market, there are different problems that people have, and then they go and try to find a solution. Or people have interests, like, oh man, I really wish there was something about blah, 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 whatever it is. So if you have an idea, the first thing you really have to do is kind of this market analysis. So it's really understanding the landscape, the space in which this solution or this product that you have in mind, like where does that actually live? To give a more depth into that, right? If you have your idea, the first thing you should do is just, like Google it and look on YouTube and see, where, like what already exists, like, out there. And so there's different kinds of ideas. So you might have like an app for consumers, so you can search the App Store, like try to find it, and basically like figure out all of the so-called competitors in the space. Like, what other apps are out there that are already doing that, right? And so there are two main things that you're kind of looking for, or several. So the first is there anything already there? Because that's actually the best sign. Like some people see it and they're like, oh man, like someone already did it. They stole my idea. Well, the thing is, like the best ideas have many, many, many customers. So they have a large total addressable market, as it's called. So it's really good to see that there's someone else already in the space. They're kind of proving by the fact that they still exist that people care about this, right? And so that's like a proven problem in the space. So you find the competitors, and then you're gonna find out actually more details. So like how many customers do you think they have? Like what's their business model? So how much revenue do you think they generate? And this is kind of like a detective skill a little bit, because the numbers aren't going to be out there. Like they don't publish them, but instead you'll see number of downloads, or you'll see like subscribers, views, and like for YouTube in particular, you can figure out like what that transfers to in terms of their success. And so then the final thing that you really need, like if you have your idea in mind and you found someone else is like doing that already, and you can see this is how much they're making, you need to figure out how you're different. You need to find out your insight, your differentiator. So this, a lot of times it can go back, to the same process where you see the competitor, but you're like, oh, like they're really cool. But, and then you always have like a couple things, or maybe they actually suck. That's the best, usually, because they could have a proven business model where they make money because people really have this problem, but they suck. And so you could come in and just build a better product, and it's kind of proven. Like you can figure out how to, you still gotta know everything about marketing on your team and really be able to take those customers. So that's still a hard business problem, but at least it's proven. And that's how you know if the idea is any good. Someone's already doing it, but you have a unique insight to do it better. And if you really can't find your problem, like the solution that you have like out there in the marketplace, that's actually a good time for you to think about why. Like maybe people don't necessarily have the problem the way you're thinking about it, or maybe there's some other reason why no one has done this before, which could get in your way as well. So that's what I would say is always the first step. So I actually saw this YCombinator startup school has a framework, the way that they think about problems, and they actually like split it into several different attributes of the problem. So the first is that if the problem is popular, so that basically just means this is a big problem. A lot of people have this problem, right? So your market is going to be bigger, and it's just going to be much easier to grow your business. Now, the second aspect is if the problem is growing. So, it might be like not super big right now, so there aren't a ton of people with this problem, but maybe this is like a trend, and in the next couple of years, it's gonna just explode and balloon, and so many people are gonna have this problem. Like everybody's making a YouTube business now or like an Instagram business, so if you were to create a business that serves their needs, that's gonna grow maybe by double or a multiple year over year. And then the next thing would be if the problem is urgent. So this is any kind of problem where people just need to get it solved today, right? You could imagine like in a medical emergency is an example of a problem that needs solved today. Businesses have many of these and so forth. So urgency, do I need it solved today? The next aspect is if this is mandatory. So that means that, like the business has this problem and they have to solve it. you know, there's no way around it. Like so every person with this problem does solve it in some way eventually, because that way it's kind of like the need to have versus want to have. So if your business serves a need, it has more like stability. And the final aspect about is actually frequency. So that means that if people not necessarily like have the problem, but like once they're engaged in the solution, like are they actually like needing to use it all the time? So is it part of their daily workflow? Or is this something that you see with your market research that people are already like using daily or looking at daily? So that's all the attributes of a problem. You don't need all of them, of course, but having a couple of these to check the box is just going to give you more confidence that your idea is a good one. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.